I'm coaching the Ladybugs. It sort of goes with the promotion, you know?
And you are?
Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Negasonic Teenage. What the shit? That's the coolest name ever!
Ow! Don't worry. If it's too tight, you'll get used to it.
You stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerve herder.
All I know is I got a lot of balls.
What's up, nerds? It's Miggs. Today we got a very special panel of nerdettes today. Joining us live, number one is Beamer. You've all heard her from the past. And today we have Mom.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Noir.
Hello.
And these ladies are joining us all the way from Manhattan Beach, I believe, correct?
Yeah, Manhattan Beach, Los Angeles area.
Okay. They are here to talk about the comic book group that they are a part of, which Brooklyn is actually very big fans of, as well as Diana. They are called the Ladybugs. Now, Kelly, can you explain what exactly the Ladybugs are?
So the Ladybugs, we're also called the Los Angeles Women's Comic Creators League. We're basically a group of women that hang out once a week at the Comic Bug in Manhattan Beach, and we draw, we write, we talk about current events that are going on, and we just are nerds that are all girls that hang out. You know, it's just pretty fun.
Now, going from your background, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I'm a comic creator. I am primarily an artist, though I'm starting to write a little bit. I've been a comic book fan for a long time. I started getting into comic books actually back when Cardcaptor Sakura was around, like way back in like 2000, and and it all just started from there, like going to anime conventions, drawing manga style, and then slowly as I've gotten more into American comic books, I've started to create my own comics, and so that kind of meeting more women creators and kind of wanting to just hang out with them and learn from them, and that's what kind of started the Ladybugs and stuff. Okay.
Oh, well, that was really cool. Now, next we have over is Noir. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I got into Japanese animation in like elementary school. I remember waking up really early so that I could watch Thundercats and Sailor Moon before I went to school every morning. And once I hit middle school-ish area, I started to kind of doodle and draw and got into stuff like Ronin Warriors and Gundam Wing. And
oh, wow.
Love the anime stuff, and then I found Clamp, who was all-female manga and anime creators, so that kind of drew me over towards that. So a lot of my art style ends up being the manga anime style, and at some point during my life I got into painting, so a lot of my stuff is paint, mostly acrylic work. I love acrylic and oil painting. But my first comic ever created was published in the Ladybug anthology that was just released.
And that Ladybug anthology is something we'll talk about a little bit later, which I actually had a privilege to be at their premiere party for it.
Autographs
galore. I saw a lot of wine, popcorn going around, so we'll talk about that later too. I do notice that you brought a little friend with us. Can you let us know about what this is?
Yeah, so this is Oz. He is Oz the lion. He is awesome.
Okay.
He's a pain in the butt. He also is in denial that he's actually a stuffed animal. He thinks he's real. And anytime he refers to his mom, that would be me, he is in the anthology. He is the comic that I created for the anthology.
Ah, inspiration.
Inspiration. He was adopted in Chicago after a trip that we went out there.
Okay.
And he ended up becoming really popular at Kamikaze.
Okay.
We took him around to take pictures with our favorite artists and people that we like, and everyone loved him. So the first night of last year's Kamikaze, he ended up with an Instagram page. And
wow.
by the second day, people were running up asking if it was Oz and if they could take a picture with him.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So he also loves to photobomb. So you may occasionally find a random picture where his little head is popping up in the background, or There's one where we got a Deadpool life bar, he's battling Deadpool. he likes to say he won because he distracted with chimichangas.
That's perfect. All right, let's get into some nerd news. Have any of you guys seen any recent comic book movies lately? Civil War, Deadpool.
Dude, Civil War was so good. I was so... Okay, so the comic book does screenings of Marvel movies that come out. Like they did one for Deadpool, and they did one recently for Civil War. And, like, Civil War was so good. I was just, like... I was expecting that it wouldn't be as good just because of the hype surrounding it. But at the end, I was just like, oh my god. I had so many feels with, like, Iron Man and Captain America. Are we allowed to talk about spoilers and stuff?
This is spoiler everything. Go ahead.
I'm really curious what's going to be the future of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers after this. Like, I feel like because now the Avengers are split, you know, we have Steve's team and we have, you know, Stark's team. So, like, are the characters who were in the prison, are they going to go back to Stark and then they're going to create, like, a new Avengers? Or, like, what's going to happen with that? And then with X-Men Apocalypse coming out, I'm wondering if they're going to, after X-Men Apocalypse, try to integrate some X-Men into Avengers. Because, I mean, we're missing, like, Wolverine and stuff in the Avengers.
Well, yeah, and that's the whole thing with having studios, you know, take license of certain characters and things. You know, as far as the Marvel Universe, they can't even use the word mutants. They have to use Inhumans because of that whole thing.
Really?
So, you know, especially like a movie like Deadpool, where it's kind of in the middle of both genres, you know, it was perfect that Ryan Reynolds played that character and fought for this movie to be made, like, from page to screen. Because, you know, you have your references to X-Men, the Wolverine, you know, it's just, it's a shit show and a half, and he pulled it off.
Man, I made the mistake of taking my day job boss to Deadpool, thinking that, oh yeah, Deadpool, it'll be a fun movie. It won't be weird or not. No, I was sitting next to my boss, and I was just like, hi, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for this. But it was a lot of fun. Deadpool was really funny.
Oh yeah, I mean, most people know how I am and the way I raised Brooklyn, aka Beamer. You know, I let her view it, but I did the turn around. Don't listen, you know, on certain specific parts.
Like only one part, dude.
But it was kind of like, oh, God. I'm a bad father, people. I'm so sorry. But I'm fun, really. Now, like a movie like Deadpool, with having the R rating, as female comic enthusiast, and did you see much more of the big hype, like with general nerds and guys going, well, it should have been an R, it shouldn't have been an R, or, you know, what are your guys' feelings on this?
What do you think about the R rating?
I didn't really have a problem with it, given the Deadpool character. It's what he is and who he is. You can't really change him and try to turn him into a PG rating.
Yeah.
You know, that's what he's always been. So I don't really have a problem with it being an R rating. I have the issue with all the parents that took their kids to see the movie not realizing what kind of movie it would be and then complaining about it.
Okay, just because Disney owns Marvel.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it was just more or less, you know, when they first said, we're going to give Deadpool an R rating, everybody was like, well, how can they do that? It's Disney property because it's Marvel. It's this. It's that. You know, the guys at Nerds with Attitude, we wholeheartedly agreed that if it translates from the page to the screen, true to form, and not changing half a storyline just to make a family movie, go right ahead. You know, with after the release of Deadpool and how successful it came. You know, you started seeing Facebook feeds and Twitter saying, oh, well, Wolverine Thieves is going to be R-rated. This movie is going to be R-rated. And you're like, you know, it's just the fact of when studios see, okay, well, that movie did so awesome because it had an R rating. Now there's going to be like 20, 25 movies over the next few years. Oh, well, we're going to slap an R rating on it just because it did so well. And not really taking into consideration the content, the the true material for it. You know, so as long as it works, go ahead. As long as it, you know, if you're trying to change it just to make a profit, you're not doing anything justice, really.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, the R rating needs to, the rating should be a side effect, not a motivator behind the making of the movie. But at the same time, I would love to see an R-rated Deadpool family movie, like, riff on the whole, like, can you imagine, like, some sort of Deadpool, like, Home Alone situation? And, like, that would be amazing.
Well, just for the fact of that Ferris Bueller scene at the end, I'd be on top for that. that was just perfect. In the theater watching, and then, that sounds familiar. That looks... Oh my God, it's Bueller!
Actually, me and Mike Wellman, he's the co-owner of the Comic Bug in Manhattan Beach. We sometimes go around to the elementary schools and work with, like, the kids, because, you know, kids, they're really into, like, comic books and stuff, and like, superheroes. And so what we do is we'll kind of teach them about, like, the origin story of Spider-Man, you know, how Spider-Man didn't become Spider-Man when he got bit by the spider. He became Spider-Man when he realized that the guy the guy who stole money and stuff, the
pickpocket that came out of the store, he could have stopped, but he didn't because he didn't want to waste his time.
Exactly.
So because of that, his Uncle Ben was killed by the same man a few hours later.
And thus, with great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly.
And that's when Spider-Man was born. And so we kind of teach kids about that, and then we have them, as a group, kind of create their own superhero, and it's, like, a ton of fun. We had, like, Panda Princess last time.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the superhero they came up with. But I was shocked by how many of the kids saw Deadpool over and over and over.
It is very kind of, really?
Yeah, because, I mean, like, at that age, I don't think half of the jokes they would even be able to comprehend.
Yeah.
Like, the whole, like sex montage that they have towards the beginring is, like, I took some of my coworkers to it, and they didn't understand some of the jokes. And I'm just like, I'm not explaining it to you. Like, you're going to have to Google that yourself.
Now, since you mentioned the Comic Bug, you want to give them a quick shout out?
Oh yeah, if you're listening and you're in the Los Angeles area, you should check out the Comic Bug. They're in Manhattan Beach and they're in Culver City. They're a great place to go and get comics. Not only that, they have the Game Hub now, which is by their Manhattan Beach location that has regular tabletop games. Like, they have D&D night, they have Pokemon night, they have Magic the Gathering night. Fridays is Magic the Gathering.
Okay.
And the staff is super friendly. We've always felt supported by them. We have multiple sketch groups that meet there regularly. We have our Wednesday sketch night, which is our co-ed group.
Okay.
Men and women are welcome. Everyone's welcome. We're just kind of like one big happy, like, art family and stuff. So the Ladybugs, we meet on Thursday nights from 6 to 9, so it's just ladies' night and stuff. And so we also have a comic creator meeting that meets every third Saturday from 4 to 6, where we have guest speakers come in. I think last time we had Barbara Randall Kiesel come in, and she was also the consulting editor for the Ladybug anthology.
Okay.
She is writing for My Little Pony right now, but she also worked as an editor for DC and Dark Horse for a number of years. In fact, she worked on Watchmen as an editor and also worked on some of the original Hellboys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's great. I mean, I first got started there back 2013, and ever since then I feel like I've just been fed so much information, and it's just, I feel like they've single-handedly, like, inadvertently launched my career, and I'm so grateful to them.
Oh, yeah. We'll get links to that through Facebook, Twitter pages, and we'll get that up once the podcast airs. Bringing back to how you said it felt kind of like a home for you. You know, I kind of think that's the case with, you know, the socially awkward teen, or, you know, boy, girl, stuffed animal. You know, it's that first place where you can kind of just be yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, back when I was growing up, there weren't really a lot of comic shops, but I remember my dad, he collected G.I. Joe comics because he's always been a G.I. Joe fan. So with Larry Hama and then them going through Marvel originally, he had his comic shop, and we'd go every week to go get his comics, and there I was just looking at all this artwork on the wall, and slowly started getting into it. The comic book guy that he dealt with, they became friends and things. So we'd come in and, here you go, here's a comic for you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Here's a couple, Marvel comic cards. So I started getting to do the appreciation. And I kind of feel like, me being a father myself here with Brooklyn, it's kind of the same thing. We now have a local comic shop that's been good for about 10 years.
Oh, that's great.
And, it's going strong and big following for 4-color comics. We'll put the link on the page. Started bringing her in, like, pick one comic, and if you really like it, we'll put it on my pull list, and, as long as your grades are good. I feel like as long as you reward them with the things that they're interested in, it's more of a benefit for them to actually do better in school, do well in school, because they know maybe at the end of the week or at the end of the month, especially with nerds like us, it's comic books, action figures, stuffed animals, anime, just fun surprises like that.
Nora, like, I remember the first time I met you was at a Ladybug meeting. I was curious how you came across the comic book and stuff.
Well, I met you at Kamikaze.
Oh, right. Oh, my God. I'm so sorry.
It's the wine talking people.
It's really funny because there were about 3 ladybugs that actually took a picture with Oz. And when I ran into them again, I pulled up the Instagram and was like, do you guys remember this? No. Who is that? It's him. Oh, my God. So I showed up a few weeks after Kamikaze because I had, life happening and all of that goodness. I showed up and brought my little flyer. I walked in, all shy, not knowing what to expect. And we actually had a conversation with someone, I don't remember who it was, not too long ago about how there was a point in time where nerds weren't mainstream. You were picked on and teased and bullied, and I remember being a kid and hiding all of my nerd paraphernalia because I didn't want to be picked on. So it's nice to have groups like the Ladybugs now where you can go in and all of you guys can just be awkward, awesome nerds.
I definitely remember the times when I was really big when I was younger. Besides the G.I. Joe toys, as that toy line started leaving. Little background on me, I was born in Japan because my dad was in the Navy. So I actually got to grow up with a lot of the old school anime and
I envy you.
We'll go back one day. But I had like Kamen Rider, the Gosei Rangers, and before they brought them over here as Power Rangers. So I appreciated all that stuff. But it was kind of like you said, it was like if you had friends come over, it was like that's what gets tucked under the bed, locked in the closet. And then, stupid me, I got into girls and got rid of all my toys.
Oh, no!
Yeah, I had all these toys, and I'm like, wow, I could have had them all still. But yeah, it's just the way society is, it's sad that you have to be judged by an outward appearance and the things you like, that it doesn't conform to other people. So, that's one reason why I actually wanted you guys on the podcast, is because, to be honest, ever since Brooklyn met you, and especially even Diana, her mom, these two are like more nerdier than they've ever been.
That's awesome!
I mean, like she's doing more on her art, but she's actually kind of opening up a little bit more.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Diana. Diana's always been like a shy type person. So it was kind of fun. I told her, I go, this is your thing. I'll lay back when we went to the comic preview for the book. And I was surprised. I was like, wow, she's like engaging. She's talking to somebody she's never met,
Yeah. And it's incredible because like when you know that you're in a space where it's safe and like everyone is into the same thing you are, it's so much more freeing because you can go up to someone and say, hey, I really loved Battlestar Galactica. It changed my life, and like talk about and argue about the ending of Battlestar Galactica, which I love, by the way. And anyone who says it's bad is wrong,
You're lucky. I never saw it. It was just not one of them.
Oh my God, you need to see it. It's so
Whovian.
good.
I am a Whovian.
Okay, I respect that. But But I mean, just knowing that there are other people out there who feel the same way you do, who believe in the same things that you do, is really empowering, because you know that you're not the only one who's occupying and trying to be the person who you are. You know? So.
Especially with the day and age of like Instagram, Twitter, and stuff, where you can kind of have your own art studio or art gallery just through the pictures. And you know, I was actually surprised when Brooklyn was like, "Can I get an Instagram?" Like, why? You know, mostly when Instagram first came around, it was just taking pictures of selfies and food and you know, I was like,
and like cosmetics and stuff.
Yeah, and I was just like, well, why do you need? Well, I want to show my art. Well, what do you mean show your art? And then I discovered hashtags, which I can't stand hashtags.
Hashtag.
I'm one of these hashtag free. Kevin, on the other hand, the other co-host, he's the Instagram page and hashtag galore. You know, just whatever.
Yeah, because I mean, there's
paste.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, there's so much content out there now, like homebrew, like the Ladybugs, like Nerds with Attitude, where like it's all about getting people just to discover what you're doing. Because I think there are a lot of people who are interested in women in comics, who are interested in nerds, in nerd podcasts, and nerds talking about what's going on in their local sphere and what's going on in general in current events. And it's just incredible. I'm wondering, you know, with these big media companies like Viacom and Marvel and DC, like what's going to happen to them 20 years down the line as like social media starts, you know.
Hopefully they'll integrate most of you people.
The next generation.
Exactly. I mean, learn from the fans, really. All right, with that said, I wanted to get on some other topics here, since we are a nerd forum for comics, books, games, toys, anime, and video games.
Is anyone excited for Final Fantasy 15?
I am. Oh my gosh. I've been like playing Final Fantasy 14 and I got totally sucked in. But tell me about Final Fantasy 15.
No, well, 15 actually has some pretty interesting people doing voice acting.
Oh, really?
For it.
Wait, are they gonna when they bring it to the US, are they gonna translate it to English, or are they gonna keep the Japanese voice?
They have some. Well, you can actually. I played the demo, which was really awesome. The demo is amazing. The whole layout's completely different from most Final Fantasy games that I've played. Like, you're in a completely huge open world play. So you can go through missions and all of that goodness, but it's all open plan.
Whoa.
So you pick where you want to go. Yeah, free roaming, giant world you can play.
Okay.
The behemoth is really crazily awesome. Like you see a lot of different depictions of behemoth, but this one's probably one of my favorites so far.
Yeah, see, with Final Fantasy, I kind of got lost at like number 8, 7.
Oh man, that was like a while ago.
Oh yeah. Well, she took over my consoles, so I can't do anything.
Loser.
What? Do you play Final Fantasy, Brooklyn?
I wanted to play like Final Fantasy 7s, and so many people rave about that. Well, my friends at least. But I haven't played like any Final Fantasy game. I just know a little bit about the lore and stuff.
I remember. I think they released Final Fantasy VII on Steam, so like you can play on a PC now. But they haven't updated the graphics, so it's still like.
Yeah, they did a re-release for PS4 or PS4. I think
it was
Yeah,
oh,
they did a re-release for it.
Is it original graphics or is it?
It's all pretty.
Really?
HD upgrades.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can actually
even hotter.
You can see the flow in the hair going when they move around, and
Is Cloud's hair still like a porcupine
yeah,
hair?
it looks
Anime
like
boy.
you're playing a version of Advent Children.
Whoa.
Like how beautiful the graphics are, it looks like that.
That's intense.
And the fighting style is very true to, the turn-based RPG fighting style. But with the new Final Fantasy, it's more of a Kingdom Hearts hack and slash.
Okay.
Ooh, I love the Kingdom Hearts.
I like that concept, so I might go back into that again. Now, have you guys, what's that one you play all the time on Wii U, Brooklyn? The Splatoon.
Oh,
Yes.
I haven't played that one
No?
yet.
That's almost like as worse as Pokemon is to me.
What is
Like-
Splatoon?
You suck.
No, I mean, like, it just gained so much traction so fast that it was like, it went from, oh, here's this idea, and now I'm like, can I do a download, Dad? Can I do a download? For what?
I'm not downloading anything on there.
So, can you explain exactly what Splatoon is?
It's a game where it's entirely online multiplayer for like the main part of it.
Okay.
But there is a single player campaign. The purpose of it is that it's almost like Call of Duty, except instead of killing people, you're supposed to cover ground with your ink. So it's turf wars.
Whoa,
for
that's
taggers.
awesome.
Yeah. Think of it as if friggin' Team Fortress 2 and Jet Set Radio had a baby.
Ooh, that
That
actually
sounds
might
really
be good.
cool, actually. Do they have it for the PC?
No, it's only on Wii U.
Oh, I'm like
Yeah.
totally a PC gamer, so I like... Actually, speaking of Team Fortress 2, they just closed the Overwatch beta, like, this past weekend. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. It's like this
She
new...
is. I've been trying to find out exactly what was Overwatch, because I heard that there was a beta released. Apparently I missed it, because I probably would have checked it out. But I have a couple friends online that are just like, oh, this is awesome. I'd see all these screenshots. Oh, this is really cool. Let's keep this in the game.
The Tracer
Hopefully,
is cute.
you know.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to figure out exactly what is the actual backstory for it and things like that.
So the story is like Overwatch is a association of people with enhanced abilities. It's
Okay.
it's not quite mutants, but these people just like aren't normal. Like they're either uncannily good at shooting people, or
Okay.
they discover some sort of tech that allows them to
Or
teleport.
you're a gorilla.
Or they're a gorilla who is completely sentient. Is like it's kind of like Beast. Like
Okay.
and so there was a huge war between the androids, the robots, and the humans, and now they're in a space of peace.
Okay.
But now like there's some agitation. Now Overwatch is being called in order to kind of help resolve some of these conflicts, and so that's kind of like the premise behind these skirmishes. Gameplay wise, it's kind of like TF2, but it's not TF2. Like I feel like. It's much more urban, like house to house guerrilla type of fighting than it is in TF2. There's a lot more
Okay.
open space in TF2, but you have escort the payload, capture like certain points and that sort of thing. But I feel like all the different characters are much more individual and different than they are in TF2. Like in TF2, you just have the sniper, and the sniper is really good at sniping. But in Overwatch, you have like two snipers, and one is a traditional sniper, and the other one is more of a sniper, but can also do hand-to-hand combat, or a bow and arrow sniper. It's really cool. It's very tactical. So like if the team has a point and has all these guys who are really good at sitting on a point and keeping it, maybe you bring out the guy who's more spy-like and try to get those people. I highly recommend it if you are able to like get into the beta and check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Now, is it a first person? Is it platform?
It's first person.
Okay.
So it's very much an FPS.
Okay.
Yeah. So if anyone has the opportunity to play the beta, I highly recommend it. I'm terrible at FPS. I would get creamed at Halo and like destroyed in TF2, and I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking about getting it. It's only $40 for the base game, rather than like I think Diablo was like $60 when Diablo 3 first came out. Yeah. Dude, Diablo 3 when it came out, it was like terrible. Okay, I'm sorry Diablo 3 people. I know you love this game, but it's like it was just really disappointing when it came out. But Overwatch, I think it was really good. I don't know if you guys are into like FPS at all, but
Oh, yeah, I mean, I came from a video game background. I worked at Game Crazy when it was around, and did all that stuff, and got to product test a lot of stuff.
oh, that's cool.
Dude.
But
I worked at GameStop when I was in high school.
How is that? Because I heard that GameStop has a lot of like sexism in
Oh,
regard-
God.
they did back in the day.
No, not just back in the day. This was actually a story that I told recently because I was so annoyed. I will never shop at GameStop again because of this.
Oh my god.
My boyfriend and I walked into GameStop that's right by our house because they had the awesome buy two, get one free used game sale that they have sometimes. So I'm like, we are going to drop a bunch of money on a PS4 and a bunch of games because I'm the gamer. I like to play games. So we walk in and we're ready to, just dish out a couple hundred, to GameStop for all of this stuff. And this guy working there walks up, and I turn because I see him in the corner of my eye walking up. He makes eye contact with me, goes around a display to my boyfriend. Anything I can help you out with, man? Like, excuse me? Man? Really? Yeah. Like, I'm the gamer. And my boyfriend looks at this guy and goes, she's the gamer, not me.
Yeah.
And he looks to me, goes, let's go to Target and spend our money at Target instead. So we just walked out and pretty much did that.
That is really such a shame. I know a lot of people that are still that work for GameStop, that had worked for, a lot of the video game companies that were out for a while. Mm-hmm. And it's just a sad shame to see the fact that there's still that, well, I'll talk to, it's almost the used car salesman, where a woman's walking up to, oh, is your husband with you? Is your boyfriend? Who gives a fuck? Make a sale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had plenty of instances where when I was working at the Game Crazy, and somebody would come in and I'm like, you need any help with anything? I'll make a sale. I don't care. The only thing I cared about was selling R-rated games to 12-year-old kids.
Oh yeah.
That was my issue. But you'd have these ignorant parents coming in and going, yeah, she plays it. It's fine. Go ahead. I go, do you understand what's in this? Doesn't matter. Keeps her off my back. I'm like, fine.
What?
Whatever.
Oh my god.
Down the street used to be the shop where I used to work at before they went out of business and everything. And we were actually located right next to an apartment complex. We ended up being the babysitter for 4, 5, to about 15 different kids.
They
after
would just
school.
drop them off?
There was literally one parent that drove up and said, hey, I'll be back and I'll pick them up in about 8 hours.
8 hours?
Excuse me? And I'm like, but it was kind of cool because we kind of figured, okay, well, we're going to be a babysitting shop anyways.
Yeah.
And we got to know the kids, got to, teach them about the old games, got to teach them hey, try this game out. You see the kids grow and start appreciating this stuff. So in a way, me and my coworkers were kind of like big brothers for them. Mm-hmm. And shit, some of them have gone to this day they are now working at game stores. Yeah. They are game developers.
Wow.
Things like that. So it's kind of cool to know that you actually had that impact in a young kid's life.
Yeah, actually, it's funny that you say that because my good friend Haley, she runs the Pokemon trading card game club at the Game Hub at the Comic Bug.
Okay.
And it's incredible because I grew up with her. Both of us, she was the president of DDR Club at school, and then I was the vice president, and then I later became the president back in high school. And it's just incredible because, we grew up together, and now she's kind of passing out that love of Pokemon to the next generation because Mike, who I mentioned before, his son goes through the Pokemon trading card game nights and stuff. And it's really cool because I remember he first started bringing him and he was kind of like, okay, I'll play with some of the people I know, some of the older people, but now he has this gaggle of friends that when they all get together, they all come running up to each other look at my Pokemon cards, look at the new ones I have. And it's and now, after the Ladybugs and being at conventions and seeing how many young women come up to us, when I met you guys in Brooklyn, it kind of made me think, oh, this isn't just about us getting into the industry. This is also about passing on the torch of, it doesn't, the comic book industry exists. There are people working in it, and you can work in it if you want to. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
But, there were a generation of women before us and a generation of women before them who took the first steps of being I'm a woman and I'm going to work in the comic book industry.
They really had to prove themselves.
Exactly. And even sometimes not even get credit for their work or it gets lost in history. And so now after kind of being cognizant of that, I know that I want the Ladybugs to be something that the next generation of women can stand on our shoulders and what we've built in order for them to get their work out,
Yeah, I feel part of being a Ladybug is being a good role model for the younger generations. I had a couple of the 15-year-olds that we have that show up that were telling me, oh my gosh, you're so nice to me, you're so sweet. And I jokingly told them, I don't have a problem with it. I wish I had someone as cool as me to be friends with when I was your age.
Oh, that's the truth, definitely. It's a shame that, when somebody gets to a certain status, they kind of forget where they come from. And, it's like, okay, well, you want an autograph? It's $15. Like,
sucks.
I looked up to you as a kid. I pretty much got in trouble every night because I was up late watching your show or your cartoon.
Yeah.
And, you're going to charge me $15 because I said, I really care about you and you were my idol. So it's nice to see, like I said, off radio and stuff before that, me and Diana and Brooklyn like going to the conventions like around Pasadena, because it's not Comic-Con where everything's so sponsored and so choreographed that 10 minutes only you're going to have Robert Downey Jr. here at this spot. And, you could actually walk up, talk to somebody. Yeah. You can, Brooklyn brings her art everywhere. Hey, do you mind taking a look and giving me a little criticism? Things like that. So it's... You got something to say?
You're the one who does that, dude.
Well, because I'm proud of you.
Thanks,
sir.
sir.
Brooklyn, your art is really great. Like, I'm serious. Please, I will get personally mad at you if you stop making art.
that makes two of us. We will hunt you down, and
I don't think these women are playing.
No, we'll tape a pencil into your hand if we have to. We'll figure something out.
What's up, Brooklyn? What's up?
You'll become Brooklyn Pencil Hands.
Get the angry nerd text and fill up your phone. You can't erase it fast enough while it's still going. Actually, being on the topic of how the women in the industry, I know with the video game industry, for the longest time, a lot of women weren't getting credit for their ideas and their storyboards. How do you guys feel now with more women being present in the comic book industry and more female heroines being portrayed in their own comics? Do you guys feel like it's too much, just enough?
I think that sometimes becomes dependent on the character.
Okay.
There was a study done recently on Starfire from Teen Titans.
Okay.
Some of the newer ways they portrayed her weren't, very savory to most women.
Okay.
She was, portrayed in just a bikini and
the
acting,
clad stuff.
Scantily clad, very slutty kind of character. And they showed a 7-year-old her comics and the Teen Titan cartoons where she kind of started out. And she said, I really like her. She's strong. She wants everyone to be happy and wants to do everything she can for her friends. Okay. And then they showed her the older ones where she's the slutty, scantily clad character. And she's like, I don't like her. All she wants is attention from boys. I don't understand it. So it really becomes dependent on the character. If it's a really awesome, strong female lead, I'm all for it. But those other female leads where, they're just portrayed as that character, I'm not a fan.
And also, I think that you have to get really clear about what the intention of your comic is. Like, if you like, say the new 52 Catwoman, the first, I picked up the first volume of it, and it didn't resonate with me, because I felt like the intention behind the new 52 Catwoman is to kind of, I feel like it was more for male readers, and it was like, hey, I'm smart, I'm sexy, and I fight crime.
Okay.
But I didn't feel like it communicated to me like a real woman who was smart, sexy, and fought crime for herself. It was more, I felt like it was much more for the male gaze. But if that's your intention, then that's fine. That just be really clear that it's for male readers.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to do the same thing to like Spider-Gwen or Miss Marvel with Kamala Khan, then then you're communicating something different. Like those characters were targeted towards like women, towards young women.
Yeah.
And and they read very different from Catwoman. So
Oh yeah, definitely.
yeah. And so, I mean, I think there's space for everyone. I think it becomes a problem where people start thinking, okay, the new 52 Catwoman is for young girls because, see, it has a woman in it. We mark the checkbox, and there you go. You know,
They go down their credited list of this needs to be in it, this needs to be in it, so they can please everybody.
Yeah.
Instead of just worrying about a good story, good art, things like that. Like, especially since you brought up the Spider-Gwen and now with Gwen Poole. I'm actually really enjoying those stories. Like, I've always been a Spider-Man guy myself, and when they, I think it was last year when they did the Spider-Verse issues where they did like 4 or 5 different dimensions, and when they introduced her, that was a fresh, clean take on the whole Spider-Man lore, having her become the Spider-Gwen, and Parker being the lizard who ends up dying, and and just the arcs that they did with them two meeting up, and well, my Gwen died on my Earth and my Peter died on my Earth, let's look out for each other. It kind of brings a tear, kind of like that's who I should have ended up with type thing. But and then with the success of the Deadpool, and then having the Gwen Poole character, she's only on issue number 2 I think right now. It's insanity. Like, that's a woman who's lost her mind, but she can kick ass.
and it's like, I feel like it's just about creating more stories out there. Like I think there's this idea that if we had more inclusivity in who's creating stories, like more people of color, more women, more LGBTQ, you know, that even more people who live outside the United States, that somehow we're going to be losing something that we have already. And I just don't think that's the case. Like, I think that the people who do enjoy like the very old school type of comics, you know, they shouldn't be lost. That should be kept, because that's where that's our past. That's where a lot of this came from. But that doesn't mean that we can't have this new generation of storytelling that you know, I mean, so many women that I've talked to who are into comics now came from manga, came from Sailor Moon, came from Cardcaptor Sakura, and that's how they got into comics.
It seems like a lot of it is the Japanese have honestly always had the more female empowerment first. So that's why you see a lot of the young girls go towards that way first, because like Sailor Moon and all the others, it's just I was intrigued by the fact that it was like Sailor Moon, when they first aired the initial cartoon back on Channel 13 like 20 years ago.
Yeah, geez,
I was like, this is weird, but intriguing. It's what?
And it's not like Sailor Moon is just for girls. You know, Sailor Moon and Cardcaptor Sakura has like fans of all different shapes, sizes, genders, colors, whatever.
It's like when I tell people I like Power Rangers, but the classic Power Rangers, they're like, you're a nerd. I go, I know I'm a nerd, but it's not the stuff they're doing now. And especially now with the movie release that they're doing with the reboot Power Ranger movie.
Oh, wow.
I'm an angry nerd on that one.
Are they gonna like Michael Bay it? Like,
it almost looks that way. Like
where's the explosions?
The Zords look like Transformers. They released the way the suits look like a few weeks ago, and we featured it on the podcast, but they almost look like Tony Stark Industry power suits. And I'm like, what the hell? I go, that's not Power Rangers. Like, I'm fine with them rebooting the story, but when you kind of go and like follow the same genre that apparently has been working in movies, that's when I get annoyed. If it's going to be a reboot, be original. Do something different. Like, especially the Ghostbusters movie that's coming out now with oh man, what's her name?
Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy, the couple chicks that have been from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
I think Kristen Wiig is one of them.
Yeah, Kristen Wiig. I can't remember the name of the other one. I'm so bad. I like each individual actress in every movie she's done. But being a child from when Ghostbusters came out, it was like, okay, is this a continuation? Is this number 3? And when they said it's a whole new reboot,
and they brought the first trailer out, I was like, okay, it's funny. I'll give you that. It's funny. But then they kind of make it seem like it is a continuation, because 30 years ago, these 4 scientists saved New York. 30 years later, these women have to come up with a whole new technology. Well, the technology was already there to kill the ghosts in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, huh?
Oh my
what?
god! If it is a continuation, I really hope that they have cameos from the original cast.
I know they should have at least Bill Murray or Dan Aykroyd. One of those two I think are doing a cameo.
Okay.
It was kind of funny. There's a lot of speculation that Winston, Ernie Hudson's character, might make a cameo, because I forgot the lady's name. That's the new woman on SNL, the black lady. She, in one scene, she goes, I can get a car for my cousin, and then here comes this hearse. Oh! So like everybody was like, well, is her cousin Ernie Hudson? You know,
that'd be really cool.
I mean, how are you guys with, like, when they say it's going to be a reboot, reimagining, or whole new look on it? Like, do you guys feel keep the classic, come up with actually something new?
Yeah, I kind of feel like that a little. A lot. I've seen so many things that just felt butchered because they decided to just change it horribly, and it didn't. It did not look good. I guess I can compliment one movie that they made recently that fell more into the older style. Okay. But still kind of had a more like new age kind of joking with it occasionally. Yeah. Star Wars.
Oh
yeah,
Star Wars did a great
you
job.
know, I think they did a really great job, but you can see some of the like little jokes that they made here and there was much more new age, but the style of the movie was done, you know, a lot better than the other 3 that came out.
on the podcast, we kind of did like a Star Wars episode, and we kind of said that pretty much number 7 is an exact plot remake of number 4, New Hope. Yeah. You know, you had your ice planet, you had your desert planet, you had the antagonist, you had the poor lonely soul that gets swept up into this universe. You know, so, and especially with the like that having a female lead with I think it's Rey. Yes. Rey. And then now with the new preview shots and some of the clips they've shown for Rogue Squadron and another female lead. I like where they're going with this, but it almost feels to me like, hopefully I don't get beat for this, but, you know, Luke had his journey, Vader had his journey, so it's going to be the females lead, but I think if it might overdo it if they start featuring just female leads. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, on the other hand, it's been male lead for like not just in Star Wars, but for the entire duration of cinema. So it's kind of like, true. So it's kind of like, even if they do go with female, as long as as long as the talent is really top notch, like that's something that I really think that they're doing well in Star Wars, is that they're not going for the big names, they're going for the talent. Like who's
the unknowns. That's one thing I really like about this. That they've been doing.
Yeah, but the characters for Rey and Finn were blind casted. They didn't care about gender, race, anything. They blind casted both of those characters.
I hate to say this, but I can't stand Finn. That's just this FN, and like, to me, he's the Jar Jar. That's just me.
No, I don't think so. I think he fulfills this role of. I feel more connected to Finn when I watch the movie than I do with Rey, because Rey is just like, I can do anything I want, and I'm so wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, I can do it. And Finn's like, are you sure, Rey? Like, this is crazy. What is the Force? Like, because I mean, like, what is the Force? If you've never seen the Force, that is crazy. You know, like, what are these people talking about? But yeah, I think that right now he's fulfilling this narrative role, and I'm hoping that as that he matures as a character throughout the series, because I mean, I when I see Finn, I'm seeing kind of like a like questioning everything, very new to everything, that sort of thing.
From the guys talking to the podcast, one of them explained that Finn's character is pretty much almost like being a newborn baby.
Yeah.
I think that's what annoyed the hell out of me. Is just him being a newborn baby. Because, like, I like them better now that they can talk. But, no, it was just that, like, oh. I was like, dude, just shut up, grab a gun, and shoot.
That's true. I mean, he did really, like, kick ass in the scene where they were battling the stormtroopers, and then Kylo, like, when that bar started getting, like, shot up. Yeah. That was such a cool scene.
I think we should be wrapping up right now. Time's getting towards that hour podcast spot. What we usually like doing here on Nerds with Attitude is kind of just a real rapid fire question thing. You just say, first thing that comes to your mind when I ask you the question.
Oh, God.
So
instead it's going to be super, like, Freudian.
Awkward.
All right. I changed a few of the questions because usually it's more of a G.I. Joe, like, boy toy type thing. So,
Dude.
Shush. All right. So, question 1. Who is your nerdy crush?
Thor.
Ooh. Thor the movie or Thor the comic?
Oh, movie. But new Thor comic. Oh, the Mighty Thor. Oh, she's my girl crush too. So both of them. She's so cool. I totally want to cosplay her. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
If anyone's seen the TV show Sleepy Hollow,
oh yeah,
my nerdy crush is Ichabod.
I'd go gay for him, honestly. the British, the proper, yeah.
The ponytail with the beard. It just works.
All right. Question number 2: She-Ra or Jem?
I would go with She-Ra. She's kind of fierce. I know Jem is truly, truly outrageous, but I'm gonna go with She-Ra.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Jem on that one.
Ooh, split decision.
I remember being a kid and watching that, and it was awesome.
Granted, I never watched any of these shows.
How dare you call yourself a nerd?
I'm too young. I'm a baby nerd.
No, I'm the baby nerd.
Yeah,
that is true.
She's got you beat here.
That's true.
I'm the fetus of the screw.
Yeah. All right, question number 3: Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
DC.
But
Wow.
DC's been doing so much dumb stuff. Like, I love DC. I love Batman. I love, like, but God, like...
See, I've been a big fan. I know it's really funny because a lot of people hate it, but I've been a big fan of, like, Aquaman and Batman and Wonder Woman and the Wonder Twins.
Wow, the Wonder Twins.
How's that for a flashback?
All right, question number 3: You have PC or console?
PC.
I'm torn. I was a big PC gamer for a long time, but I love my PS4.
Okay.
Tell me one thing the PS4 can do that the PC can't. Not to nerd bash here, but...
Well, there's a lot of games on it that I can't get on PC.
Okay, that's fair.
And I love Spelunker World right now. If you get a chance to play Spelunker World, it is like the best game ever right now.
Is it like Sim Ant or something?
No, so it's 2D side-scrolling.
Okay.
But you're spelunking, so you're going into caves and jumping on vines and avoiding snakes and bats, and you have your trusty little dog that follows you and digs up orbs with little things that you can collect.
Cool.
And it's almost like a Super Mario type of game where you're side-scrolling and it's puzzle kind of game. It's really fun.
Number 4. Do you like... It is tabletop game or LARPing?
I've never LARPed before. I would love to.
It's quite fun, actually.
I want to throw spells at people.
Yeah, I'd probably go with LARPing.
LARPing?
Do they have, like, a referee? I would love to be a referee with, like, one of those, like, those scooter things that they have and, like, with a little, like, whistle and be like, you're down. Like, that would be my...
In the days of the internet, I think you can find anything.
Yeah, I just want to be able to beat people up with foam swords.
I'm running from you.
Okay.
Back. Power's not working. All right, let's see. Question number 4?
5.
5. Good thing you're here.
Yeah.
Question number 5. Who was your inspiration as far as beginning to be creative?
Clamp.
Clamp?
Yeah, Clamp.
You finally agree on something.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I mean...
They're just all sorts of awesome.
Mhm.
Like, they do so many different styles. I mean, their art style when you see it.
Yeah.
But as far as their storytelling they go from, like, really awesome, like, magical girls that fell into a world and all of a sudden have magical powers to this really crazy apocalyptic world.
Yeah, and I mean their art quality is beautiful. Like people cannot like their style, but you have to respect like their storytelling and the way that they engage you and do movement.
Yeah,
you know,
really excellent character development and storytelling. Everything about them is just awesome. And they're all women.
Yeah.
And you want to give them a quick plug where they can find them, or?
Oh, Clamp. Clamp is, if you look online, go to your local Barnes and Noble or I guess Borders isn't around anymore. But
No, they're dead. They're gone.
Yeah,
Barnes and Noble,
Blockbuster.
Amazon is the place to go for just about everything because it's Amazon. But you can type in Clamp and it'll probably pull up everything. One of my favorite websites to use is thriftbooks.com.
Thriftbooks.com?
Yeah,
Okay.
they get a lot of books in. Most of them are used, but they're all in really great condition. You might get the awesome, what used to be the stamp card when you checked out a book at a library.
Nice.
that's awesome. But
You won the prize.
But some great books by them to check out is Magic Knight Rare, Cardcaptor Sakura, X1999.
I liked Clover was really good.
Clover was so good.
And X.
X.
Just the letter X.
Okay.
They have a whole manga and anime and movie series for it.
Okay, yeah. You nerds definitely check that out. Sci-fi or horror?
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi.
Okay, now going off the sci-fi question. Star Trek, Star Wars.
Star Trek.
Firefly.
I love that answer. I love that answer.
I'm going to switch it over to hers.
No take backs. What was it about Firefly that caught you?
Everything.
Everything?
I mean, you've got like old Western movie meets steampunk meets space. And Nathan Fillion.
That says it all, people.
He's so good. Okay, if they did, do you want a Firefly remake?
Yes.
Especially since they canceled Castle? Yes!
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, thank you for saying that. My heart was so broken when I found that out. They're canceling Castle.
More reason to get Firefly back
Yeah,
on.
but Nathan Fillion and Alan Tudyk actually did a little webcast series.
Okay.
If you ever get a chance to, I think it was called Con Man.
Okay.
And it was both of them. It was supposed to be really funny.
Side note, I love Alan Tudyk. It's hilarious.
Amazing.
I love him in movies. It's hilarious.
They actually, for Free Comic Book Day, I think it was like 2 weekends ago, and Nathan Fillion and Alan Tudyk went to every single comic book shop in the Los Angeles area to promote Con Men.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I tried to stalk them, but I was unsuccessful.
Yeah, I saw
If you
Alan
guys are
Tudyk.
listening, you know where to find her. All right, let's see. You know, I guess we'll wrap it up here, but first I wanted you guys to talk a little bit about the Ladybugs Anthology Volume 1 that was released a couple days ago.
Yeah, so basically, the Ladybugs were a women's association of comic book creators. So what we decided to do is we put together an anthology, and what the anthology contains is work from, I guess, like 20 different creators, and I think we have 13 stories in it. It's like 120 pages, and it's all work by women creators in Los Angeles. We have stories from Bounty Hunter Space Besties by Christine Hiff, which is about two best friends who are bounty hunters trying to catch a girl. And we also have like post-apocalyptic, there we go, a story by Tanya Bjork. If you guys are familiar with her, she's also done a comic book series called Havenhurst, which is about this girl looking for her rabbit in a post-apocalyptic area. there's a wide range of different stories. So you guys should check it out. We have it online on gumroad.com if you guys want to check it, like buy it online. But if you are in the Los Angeles area, we also carry it at the Comic Bug. We're actually having a comic book signing again at the Culver City location of the Comic Bug on Wednesday, May 18th from 3 to 7 if you guys are available.
Get down there. You guys will have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's great.
Plus you get autographed copies, and we won't charge you anything extra for the autographs.
Always a plus. Get a Starbucks instead. With this anthology, was it mainly all Ladybugs completely, or did you have some outside help, or?
It was mostly Ladybugs. Actually, what ended up happening is the women who came in to help us out kind of ended up becoming Ladybugs, because we're a pretty open group. It's not like we have any hazing ritual in order for you to get in or anything, but...
Damn.
She's lying. Don't listen to her.
Take the blood of the man.
Mike Wellman, he hooked us up with Barbara Randall Kiesel, who I mentioned earlier, who worked on Hellboy and Watchmen, is writing My Little Pony.
Okay.
And so she's been in the industry for longer than like I've been alive, you know, and so she was able to really give us a lot of feedback on our work and really push us to the next level in terms of our creativity. So it's kind of like by her, you know, working with us, she was able to give us the knowledge from her experience and help us, because, you know, you gotta help each other out, you know, in the comic book industry. So
Yeah, I was just really excited that she said for my very first comic book ever, it didn't suck.
All right, guys. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you guys for this last hour.
Thank you so much.
Yay.
Definitely. You guys are welcome here anytime, as long as I can get rid of them and take them to you. So. But as always, it's been Miggs.
Oh, it's been Mom.
It's been Noir.
Hey.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Brooklyn. You guys remember to keep it nerdy. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Just look for Nerds with Attitude. Take it easy.